A few years ago, I did an episode on Mobile Suit Gundam, the original 1979 TV series that launched the Gundam franchise, and how it was definitely not for kids despite being a show that was made for children. Which, look, if you want to turn kids off of the idea of war, you've got to make it really brutal, and Mobile Suit Gundam did that. Well, the follow-up series, Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam, which debuted in 1985, is no less violent. In fact, it might be even more brutal in some ways than the original. Stick around. We're going to deep dive into the most brutal deaths in Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam. I'm Dan Umthen, and this is the Doomcast. So do me a favor, hit subscribe and the bell. I make about one of these videos a week. They are all great, so please don't miss even one. Zeta Gundam allowed Yoshiyuki Tamino and his collaborators a little bit more freedom to explore his original vision, the development of returning surviving characters from the original series as well. Now, I should point out, in case it's not entirely obvious already, that this episode is going to definitely be full of spoilers for a 39-year-old TV show. But if you're watching on Crunchyroll or Funimation, rest in peace Funimation, a way better app interface for streaming and subtitles that were all in one place. Anyhow, I'm not bitter. If you want to stream this, just save this video and come back later. Now, does Zeta Gundam manage to be as brutal as the original? Possibly. Is it as brutal as Char Aznable blowing Cecilia Zabi's head clean off with a rocket launcher in one shot, straight through the bridge of the spacecraft that she was in? Not necessarily as crazy as that, but definitely deaths on a much larger scale you get to see. Camille Bdan, the boy with a girl's name, likes to play hooky and check out mobile suits with his friend, who is a girl, Fa Yuriri. While looking for White Base Commander Bright Noah, Camille gets mocked by Jared Mesa for having a girl's name, so Camille rocket in his stupid head and knocks him out. In turn, he's arrested by Titan's officer Matosh, who interrogates him, says he's a candidate for future military service, and then that Matosh guy almost gets crushed to death when the building collapses. Apparently in the manga, he does actually die. A group of AUG pilots are attempting to steal one of the Gundam Mark IIs from the colony. Camille gets caught up and steals the Gundam as well, and shoots that Matosh guy, who in the cartoon survives, and then escapes to the Argama. It's there that one of the first and most jarring deaths to begin with takes place. Titans demand the return of the Mark II, or they're going to kill a hostage inside of a capsule floating in space. That hostage happens to be Hild Badon, Camille's mother. Jared believes that this capsule contains a bomb, and he's under orders to destroy it if the AUG moves for it. You can guess what happens. Hild Badon is killed right before Camille's eyes. Doesn't explosively decompress, but it's gruesome enough. A few episodes later, Franklin Bdan winds up on the Argama as well, attempts to defect, but is mistaken for an AUG pilot in his Rictius. When he attempts to escape into Camille's cockpit, he's killed in space before Camille's eyes as well. An episode later, while attempting to reach Earth, the Mont Blanc, an entire AUG ship and companion to the Argama, is sunk by a Titan attack, killing everyone on board, catching the eye of Amuro Ray back on Earth. A few episodes later, Laya Mila is killed in her Garibaldi after she underestimates Camille's abilities. He fires a beam rifle blast directly through her cockpit, an act that earns him Jared's eternal enmity. But that's not the only comrade Jared's destined to lose. As Camille descends to Earth, he destroys Kakrakan Kakuler's Balut, carrying his Marasai mobile suit, destroying his mobile suit and him together. Rest in peace to the third best name in this show, Kakrakan Kakuler. And don't worry, the names keep getting better. The AUG lose pilot Roberto to Buran Blutarch's Ashamar mobile suit when the Titans attack Kennedy Airport. And a few episodes later, Blutarch eats it as well when Amuro shoots him down. A few episodes after that, Amuro kills Ben Wooder by smushing him inside of a machine gun turret on the Sidori. In the first battle with the newly developed Zeta Gundam, Sidley, one of Jared's comrades, is killed in her Marasai. In episode 24, CommodoreBX dies of injuries from an undercover assassination attempt into car. Now, while that's not necessarily as brutal as some of these other deaths have been, it spurns Char/Quattro Bajeena as Blex tells him to leave the AUG. Quattro Bajeena, of course, is the best name in the series, period. Second best name in the series, Jemai Khan Danningham, exploded on the Alexandria when an errant shot from Emma Sheen in the G-Defensor hits it, turning him into space dust. In episode 30, Camille kills Moir Pharaoh when she tries to intercept a beam rifle blast meant for Jared. Jared is overwhelmed when he searches for her and finds nothing but debris. The bombing of Bron City happens an episode later. Despite Sarah trying to stop it and do the right thing with Camille, the explosion happens at 4 p.m. like Sarah and Sirocco planned, killing anyone who wasn't actually evacuated beyond the blast doors. Don't worry, we're getting to the horrific atrocities. Episode 36, Jared kills 4 Murasame in the Psycho Gundam when she attempts to interfere in a fight with Camille. 4 Murasame is surprisingly the 4th best name in this series. Episode 40, millions of people in Colony 18 of Side 2 are killed by the Grips Colony laser, which is activated by the Titans. It blows a 200-meter hole through the side of that colony, creating immediate explosive decompression. The pain and suffering and death are immediately felt by Camille psychically. An episode after that, Rekoa deploys poison gas in another colony, killing a bunch of civilians despite resenting the orders from Bascom. She follows them still and is the only surviving member of her team after Camille loses it on the rest of them. In episode 45, Lieutenant Appley Bay is killed by Jared with a shot through the cockpit during Operation Maelstrom while trying to save his comrades, an act that shocks everybody in the AUG. An episode later, when Sarah senses Sirocco get shot by Char in his meeting with Haman Karn and Jamitov, she fires a blast straight through Karn's ship to where he is to save him from danger. In the confusion, Sirocco murders Jamitov in cold blood, which was his intent from the start. Later, Katz attempts to kill Sirocco in the middle of his psychic battle with Haman Karn. Sarah moves in front of the beam rifle blast from the G-Defensor, destroying her mobile suit, cockpit entirely in reactor. Her psychic ghost pushes Katz away while Sirocco tries to kill Katz. But Sarah's death leaves Katz, understandably, shell-shocked. Episode 48, while Rosemi goes freaking nuts, threatening to kill everybody in the Argama, Camille is guided by a psychic vision of 4 Murasame, and he takes a shot, destroying the head of Rosemi's mobile suit, blowing her into space, where her mobile suit also explodes as the mobile suit that she was in detonates completely. In that same episode, Rekoa flies right up to the bridge of Bascom's ship and blasts him and the entire bridge right into Oblivion dead-on, reminiscent of Char firing that rocket into Cassilia Zabi's craft at the end of the original Mobile Suit Gundam as well. That guy sucked. Nobody's going to miss him. You should never trust anyone with glasses like that. Episode 49 has a lot of people die as the Argama brings the fight directly to grips to Camille. Emma and Katz enter the fight. After Emma and Katz dock to make the Super Gundam, Emma melts Ramses Hassa with a beam rifle blast directly. Katz, however, hits an asteroid and he's shot down by Yazan. His last moments, he feels Sarah with him again, and everyone on the battlefield senses his death. Yazan corners Emma. Henkin moves the entire Radish battleship to try and aid her, but Yazan also sinks the Radish with Henkin and everyone else on board. Camille finally puts 2 well-placed shots into Jared's Bond dock, blowing it into the explosion of the Radish as that sinks as well. Camille tells Emma that Yazan can't get away with killing Katz and Henkin and everybody on the Radish. Rekoa is killed by Emma Sheen with a beam saber directly through her cockpit as Yazan fires on the wreckage of Rekoa's mobile suit. It damages Emma's normal suit, and Camille fully new types out and just shreds Yazan's Hammurabi. In the very last episode, Emma Sheen dies of her wounds at the very beginning. She's incinerated when Bright has the colony laser fire, destroying most of the remaining Titan's fleet. Char apparently blows himself up in the wreckage of a ship to try and escape Haman Karn, but we find out later that he definitely survived. The Zeta takes on the souls of the recently deceased, and Camille pierces the O cockpit with the nose of the Zeta in plane form, crushing Paptimus Sirocco, who unleashes a devastating psychic attack as he dies, putting Camille in a catatonic state, which I mistook the very first time that I watched this, thinking that Camille had actually died as a result and just wasn't aware that he had passed. However, apparently in the 0099 manga, he shows up as an adult doctor. So apparently he doesn't die, and apparently he ends up coming out of that persistent vegetative state. So that's it. That's most of the most brutal deaths in Mobile Suit Zeta Gundam, a ranking of some of the best names, and more. Did I miss any? Probably. Let me know in the comments. But again, thanks for watching, and I appreciate you subscribing if you did. If you didn't, just hit the bell. Anyway, see you next week. Peace.